If you're not strength training at all and you're a true beginner, you don't really know much. You don't feel very confident in the gym by yourself. You're not really sure what to do, other than maybe what you've seen on Instagram or on TV. You don't have a lot of conviction. If you are a true beginner, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can focus on, that if you do 3 out of these 5 things consistently for 4 to 6 months, I feel pretty confident that you will be not a beginner anymore. So a lot of people think, that being a beginner, it's all downside. I'm going to break your belief on that. There is actually one unbelievable upside to being a beginner in the gym. And that is that you will never at any point in your training journey gain strength and muscle as fast as you have the potential to gain in your first 6 months. I'm going to say your first 50 visits to the gym. In that first period, you have more potential to gain strength and muscle relatively to where you are right now than any other point in the future. So you will remember this time fondly. It will be unique. It will have some very memorable elements to it that aren't necessarily as pronounced as they are later. We'll say levels to gaining muscle and gaining strength. But like most things in life, some of the hardest things that we do ultimately become the most meaningful things that we do. So level 1, you're a level 1 in the gym. And it's all upside from here. It can't get any worse. You're not going. You're not doing anything. There's nowhere to go but forward. So I'm going to give you 5 things. If you do 3 out of these 5 things consistently, you're going to work your way out of level 1, out of the beginner, and into whatever we're going to call level 2. Throughout this series, we're going to go all the way through level 1 through level 5. And level 5 is the tippy top. I don't even think I'm a level 5. I feel like I'm a solid 4, but the level 5s, those guys and girls are at a different level. So thing to do number 1 is go to the gym consistently 3 times a week. Now, I'm not trying to overcomplicate this. We have levels 2, 3, 4, 5, where we will get more and more complicated. So first thing, go to the gym 3 times a week. If you get in your car, you drive to the gym, and you go into the gym, you have succeeded that step 1. That is going to the gym. If you decide to just turn back around and leave the gym after putting on your gym clothes, getting in your car, driving to the gym, going into the gym, and then you just decide to turn around, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, go for it. The thing is, and why I recommend this, that very rarely happens. Usually once you create some momentum, you create some investment, once you get going and you get into the gym, it is very unlikely that you will just turn back around. Now, this was advice that I gave clients for years, and almost 100% of the time when people came to the gym, they trained. One case of a guy who just really struggled with the anxiety around the gym. And I remember one day he was at the gym and he was just pacing out front. He didn't walk in. He was pacing out front, and he looked very anxious about going in that day. And I said, hey, listen, John, if you don't want to go in, you don't have to. He looked at me, he goes, okay. He turned around and he left.
Emotional damage.
He didn't work out that day. But John ultimately ended up coming regularly. That was just one day. If you can get yourself to go to the gym regularly, the likelihood that you're going to do something else skyrockets. And it's way easy to just stay on the couch. They say the hardest lift is your ass off the couch. That might be true. I know for me, often it's true. Sometimes the hardest lift is the 3 sets of 5 on the back squat for 160 kilos. Sometimes it's that, but many times it's just getting into the gym. It's just getting in momentum. Step number 2, I want you to get a reasonably affordable gym membership There are gym memberships. Almost every city, there's a Planet Fitness. There are gym memberships from $10 a month to $400, $500, $600 a month. Relatively, if you are just starting out, the cost of the gym should be reasonable. It should be financially reasonable for you to spend the money that it costs to be a member there. As you increase your level to levels 2, 3, 4, 5, I know this sounds opposite, but this is where I want you to increase your investment in fitness, in the gym, in the process. The higher the level, the more tools help you get a relatively improved result. That was a really wordy way of me saying that the same things that are going to get you one level are not the same things that are going to get you to the next level. So you're going to have to invest more to get further and further levels, either time or money or both. And I want you to focus initially on machines. Why is the guy who owns a chain of gyms, of training gyms in New York City that has no machines, that is all free weights, suggesting that as a beginner, you get started on machines? The reason is, initially, you are going to get really incredible result when you have not done anything and you just start to put a resistance on your body. Just that initial resistance that you put on your body, regardless of whether that is a free weight or whether that is a machine, it makes less of a difference initially. Machines are less likely to get you hurt because they're on a track, they're in line. They're much easier to measure, usually just a stack that you just pull a pin, increase to the next one. There's less form involved in the quality of the motion, so you can just focus on pushing, pulling, moving the weight. Early on, you don't need to worry too much initially. You have plenty of time. You have an entire lifetime to work on extremely nuanced and detailed movement quality. Initially, I want you to be safe. I want you to have the lowest amount of investment that you would get a similar result for the first period. And I want things to be very simple. And using machines are going to keep things very simple for you. Now, I don't care what machines you use, but every time you go to the gym, every time of those at least 3 times a week that you go to the gym, I want you to do some form of an upper body push. That can be pushing this way, upper body pull, pulling down, lat pull down, a row pattern, a lower body push. This could be a squat, a leg press, some form of lower body push, and then some lower body pull. That's like a hamstring curl. I want you to finish, not start. I want you to finish each session with 5 minutes on some machine. And I want you to try for 5 minutes. I just want you to try. Now, through all of this, I don't even need you to overcomplicate things yet by tracking and measuring. Listen, also, a guy who owns a system and a series of gyms where tracking and measuring is the most important thing you do. Initially, in this first phase, in this level 1 phase, you just need to get going. You need to prove to yourself that you can hold a routine. You need to not be afraid of the gym. You have to kind of know where to go and what to do. You need to learn how to make it part of your life, okay? When you go to the gym, I want you to stay for 45 minutes. I want you to do at least one of those 4 different movements. You can always do more, but if you're there for an hour and a half and you're not fatigued, you're not trying hard enough during your sets. How about like how many reps, how many sets of these movements to do? So of those 4 movements, I want you to spend at least 10 minutes at each movement. I don't want you to superset anything. I want you to rest as much as you need to feel like you can give your best effort. Okay. I don't need you to challenge your energy systems yet. I don't need you to build a whole lot of strength, endurance yet. So how many reps? more than 5. We have plenty of time to be focused on long-term strength training where we'll be, on free weights, we'll be on barbells, dumbbells, using less than 5 reps, but we're going to create a system with some accountability, some oversight, and less than 15. So more than 5, less than 15. If you're in that sweet spot of more than 5, less than 15, you can't do more than 15. Okay. Then you're in a good spot. Okay. I want during this period, I want you to get good. I want you to start understanding what it feels like to go to failure. So I want you to get that feeling of, I can't do one more rep. My body's not letting me do one more rep. Number 4, this isn't a directive. This is just an option. Now, nutrition will supercharge your results. Okay. If you're putting resistance on your body and you haven't before, or you haven't for a really long time, giving your body the building blocks and the construction tools and the vitamins, the minerals that it wants and needs and uses to rebuild your body, it is only going to supercharge the results that you get. You'll recover faster. You'll be able to train better if you do. Now, I don't want to overcomplicate this. I'm going to give you a very simple analogy, and I'm going to give you one tip that you can use. If you think of nutrition in proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and you analogize to building a house, the protein is going to be your bricks, your lumber, your raw materials. You need it to build the house. It is kind of the most important thing to build the house. If you do not have it, the house cannot be built. The carbohydrates, I want you to think of as extra workers, meaning more carbohydrates. You have more workers on site laying those bricks. And then healthy fats, unhealthy fats have no place in our lives anymore because we're on our fitness journey. But healthy fats, you can think of as the mortar. It holds everything together. It's what holds the bricks in place. It's what keeps us functioning well. We need our healthy fats in order to be healthy individuals. And we need them, in this analogy, to keep the house from falling apart. So my only directive with nutrition, eat the building blocks, the protein first. Eat it first, and eat your protein with every meal. And the protein part, eat it first. If you are vegan or vegetarian, the protein is very scattered into the whole meal. And I don't know what to tell you. You can't pull the protein out of it and take it separately. So just do your best to get as much protein in as possible. If you have one type of food that is higher in protein, eat that one first in your meal. My 5th note, this is not a directive. This has to do with recovery. You will not get better sleep than when you first start resistance training. It will feel amazing. So I would tell you, get 6 to 8 hours, 6 at least, 8 optimal, 9 or 10's great. I would say, I don't think you're going to have a problem with it. If you're not resistance training and you start, you do it at least 3 times a week, at least 10 minutes on each movement of those 4 movements, between more than 5 reps, less than 15, and you can't do any more, you practice going to failure, and you're not late night drug addict, you are going to get the best sleep that you've probably ever gotten in your life. Just let your body sleep. That would be my advice. When you feel that you need the rest, give yourself the rest. The rest that is when everything rebuilds. That's when the workers get to work and they place all the blocks and they put them in the mortar and they rebuild your body. 1, at least 3 times a week. You can go more. More is fine, but 3 times minimum. 3 times minimum, and you have to go. You have to go. If you go in and you turn back around, it still counts that you went. Okay. It's just unlikely it's going to happen. 2, focus on machines, at least 10 minutes on at least 4 different movement patterns: an upper body push, upper body pull, lower body push, lower body pull. If you want to do more, you can do more, but at least one of each of those 4. 10 minutes at each station, at least 5 reps, not more than 15. If you can do more than 15, it's too light. But if you can't do 5, it's too heavy. Nutrition is going to supercharge your result. Don't sleep on it. Nutrition's your buddy. Nutrition is your friend. Remember, protein is the building blocks. Carbohydrates, those are the extra workers. Healthy fats, that's the mortar, the concrete. Keeps everything together. And sleep recovery, you're going to sleep great. It's going to feel awesome. You will not probably in the rest of your life get as good sleep as you will when you first start resistance training. I'm jealous. It's going to be awesome. Let yourself sleep as much as you can. Let yourself sleep as much as your body tells you it needs. So you're going to want to keep this up. If you can do 3 out of these 5 for 6 months, it is very likely that you are going to be on to level 2. Which means that I need to make a level 2 video, which means if it's any other time than right now, which is when I haven't made that video yet, you're probably watching this video in the future, which means that I have already made the second video and it's right there. Wait, is it right there? It's right there. It's right there. Right there. Level 2. See you there.